Hi, this is Tracy from Gift Basket Appeal, and today we're going to be making this cute ceramic tile using Sweet Stuff stamp set from May Made It. So let's get started. One of the first things you're going to need to do is cover the back of your tile with a piece of felt. So what I did was I just cut out a little bit of felt, just a tiny bit smaller than my tile, and that just protects your tile if you're going to be putting it down on a glass table. And I will list all of the supplies to this project below. So that's the first thing you want to do. And so I'm taking some Mod Podge, and I'm taking my foam brush and I'm just covering the back of this. And I'm using this to stick my felt backing on. I'm just smoothly stroking it on. And then I'm going to just go ahead and put this right on the back. And you might want to give it about 5 minutes to dry. Okay, once your back is on and dry, you want to decide what paper you're going to use to cover your tile with. And what I decided was I would use these 3 colors here, working off especially this decorative paper, and I will list all of the measurements below. And I want to have a heart also. So I have a heart template, and all I'm going to do is trace it onto this plain white paper. And this paper is what I'm going to be stamping on. So all I'm doing is just tracing around. I'm going to be using this heart template for many of my Valentine projects. And then I'm going to cut it out. I'm working with a 4x4 tile, so of course I want my heart to be smaller. And you could either stamp on your heart before you cut it out or vice versa. Okay, now that I have my heart ready, I'm going to be using the Sweet Stuff stamp, and the one I'm using is going to be the gumdrop. That's my favorite. And I'm going to use the message Sweet Stuff. I'm going to use the Tim Holtz Distress ink, and I'm going to be stamping an outline of my gumdrops right along the outline of my heart. So I'm going to start right in the middle here. Just want to make sure I got that on there. I'm just going to go on the bottom here too. And that way I'm going to go this way and then come along that way, or maybe just alternate, but I want them to be evenly spaced out. So if you can see that, I'm just going right along the edge. And that's all right. That one didn't stamp as well, but that's okay. I can go back and clean that up. I'm just going right around the outer edge. I thought this would be really nice. I've been really getting into this repetitive stamping, kind of using a smaller stamp and just repeating that stamp to make a design. And stamps are so versatile. I think right now this Sweet Stuff stamp happens to be one of my favorites. And just to let you know, this is a design team project. I'll be doing some stamp ideas using May's stamps on a monthly basis. Okay, so now that we have this all done right around the edge, I'm going to go ahead and start coloring it in. And I figured red is nice since it's Valentine's. I'm going to use the R27 red marker from Copic. And I'm going to go ahead and color in my gumdrops here. I'm just going to take my time since I really want this to look neat and stay inside the lines here. I think this will also look nice in a purple as well. But you could do it in whatever color you want. What I do plan on doing with this is giving away as a gift. I'm going to make a set of 4 so that they can be used as coasters. Or the nice thing is you could also get a small pedestal and actually display them on a fireplace mantle. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off and let you see what it looks like. All right, I finished coloring in all of the gumdrops, and now I'm going to put my message right in the center there. And there's so many different messages you can use with this stamp. I'm going to use Sweet Stuff, but there's also Just for You, a little treat for someone sweet, thank you for being so sweet, something yummy for your tummy, enjoy the treats, you make life sweet, holiday treats. So it's just so much you can do with this. I want mine to say Sweet Stuff, and that kind of goes along with those gumdrops. And so you want to just make sure that your heart is large enough to fit your message right in the center. And there you go. Now I want to give this an outline because I feel like it'll look better if it has something that's outlining it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut just right around the edge there. And you could either trace a heart that's a little larger, but I'm just going to go ahead and kind of do it freehand. If you're not comfortable cutting, then I suggest that you trace a heart that's just a little bit larger. think I'll be okay. Okay, so this is actually going to serve as my, just a little outline for my heart, so that when I mount it on here, or when I Mod Podge it onto my decorative paper, it just has a little bit of an outline and stands out a lot more. Okay, so now we are ready to work with our tile again. And so think of Mod Podging on tile as building layers. And this sponge brush is really good for applying your Mod Podge. So I'm just covering the whole thing. And like I said, this is a 4x4 tile. They do have some that are like 8x8. I think they have some 6x6 ones also. So I'm just evenly spreading on. My Mod Podge, and then I'm going to put my decorative paper on there. And my decorative paper, I actually cut a little bit smaller than the 4x4, only because I like the way it looks with just a little bit of an outline around it. So it's not exactly the exact size, but a little bit smaller. And I don't want it to come all the way up to the edges either. And so once that's on, I'm going to take another layer of Mod Podge and just place it over evenly. And it looks a little bit fuzzy right now, but don't worry about that. When it dries, it will dry clear and it'll have somewhat of a shine on it. Just want this to be real smooth. And now I'm going to take the outer heart. I'm just going to place it right here. I'm just going to give it a little bit of time to dry, just because when I start applying my next layer of Mod Podge, I don't want it to move. So Mod Podge dries pretty quickly, depending on how many layers you use. And you might want to give it maybe 1 or 2 minutes to dry. So now I need to put Mod Podge on this layer. And this paper is a little bit thicker. And so I'm going to go ahead and slather this with some Mod Podge. And I did another project like this. I will go ahead and list that project below. It was for another design team project. Okay, and so now we have that done. I'm going to add our heart. And I just want to make sure I get this straight on there. It has a little bit of an outline, which is nice. Just make sure all the edges are down and it's nice and smooth. And like I said, you can kind of see where it's really, it looks cloudy, but when it dries, it will dry clear. I'm just going to let that sit on there for a little bit. And then this is actually the last layer. So if you wanted to add something else in here, you want to make little dots around the lettering, you can. But you can keep building layers on this tile if you wanted to. But I think I'm going to stop there. And so I'm just using strokes going in the same direction. I just want it to have a smooth finish. And for the top coat, I usually let it dry for about 15 minutes. And then I add another coat to it once it's dry. So you see how cloudy it looks. Don't worry about that. It's supposed to look like that, but it's going to dry clear. That's what I love about Mod Podge. I'm just making this a little bit smoother. And there's a little bit going on the sides. Don't worry about that. You can always wipe that off. And so you're going to let this dry for about 15 minutes, add another top coat on, and then I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like. My design team projects are all complete, and as you can see, it's a set of 4, and this is great as a Valentine's gift or for any time of the year. These will actually make a great gift for a teacher appreciation as well. I hope you are inspired by this project. I'm going to list everything below, including where you can get Maymay's Sweet Stuff stamp. So check below in the description to see the links to her blog as well. Thank you for joining me, and please subscribe, like, and comment. That one is significantly larger. And then I also went ahead and made some cards using the Pray for the Cure stamps, and I just left it very simple because a lot of times